Hey, how y'all doing? Okay. This is the earliest I've ever recorded, so it kind of sounds like my voice is still waking up, which it is, but we're not gonna worry about that, okay? Because it's 7 in the morning. What's that TikTok sound? I don't know. But basically, I woke up today and I was like, I have to go to work. I'm going to not the doctor, but a facial and Botox, having myself a day. And there's really no other time to record this, especially if I want to wear makeup for the YouTube, because I don't think I could put on makeup after like a facial and Botox and all that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to record at 7 in the morning to record before work. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see me in my little business casual. You can't see my slacks though, because I went up a little closer approach with the view of the camera just because I wanted to. But I do have little pumps on and I do have slacks on, and I'm very business girly right now. So maybe I'll be in like a more professional headspace, you know? You guys, I really just like said yes to a lot of social things this week and it took it out of me. And I'm still recovering. Like, my house is a mess. There's no food prep for the week. I am just like a mess because I drank on a Sunday, you know? And maybe I'm a little hungover today, but maybe I'm not. Who knows? My dogs are really just not being good right now, and it's making me mad. And you probably hear them like fighting. I'm holding their like collars apart, basically. Anyway, so what did I do? Basically, I think there was an attitude shift with me and Andrew in regards to social events this week because it was his first week finally not working a restaurant job. So he had put his 2 weeks in like a while ago, but the owner of the restaurant was like, hey, we're really short staffed right now. Could you stay an extra month for me? Like, blah, blah, blah. And Andrew was like, yeah, why not? So that month finally ended the first week of April. And so this past weekend was our first weekend with Andrew not working Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so we could actually do things, you know? So we were sitting like around on Friday and we were like, okay, where are we going to go eat? Our first night out in the town. No more like working every night. Like, we finally get like nights to ourselves. And we were sitting there and one of my coworkers texted that they were at like, I think like Barracuda or something. So they were like, come, like, let's just have ourselves a little evening. And we did just that. It was so much fun. We went to Barracuda, got drinks, didn't get food because the line was so long. Then went to La Carreta, Mid-City one. All the other ones that I've tried are trash. But also the La Carreta in Mid-City is where me and Andrew met working. I think I told that story. If not, we can get into it soon because I think I'm going to do for an episode soon, like an Ask Me Anything. So I'll literally just like post an Instagram story, Ask Me Anything. So a lot of people are writing in on my question forum, asking me like personal questions when like, I'm like, no, you're supposed to ask me questions about you and I'm supposed to answer, you know? So I am like, well, I might as well do an Ask Me Anything, get it out the way. So if y'all have been asking me personal questions, ask them on there. Although you do have to show your face, so you can't ask me the snaky ones that you've been trying to ask. Anyways, so yeah, that was Friday. We went to Radio Bar after, actually. And at first we were like, because it's in this little like strip mall, we were like, I've never been to Radio Bar. I've always heard about it. I didn't even know where it was. And we pulled up and I was like, this is the famous Radio Bar? But then when we went in, it was like so cool inside. There was a whole wall of like board games. So we actually ended up playing like board games in a booth. Like, it was just like such a fun little night. Had a couple cocktails. Don't have many cocktails these days. And I was tipsy because I'm very lightweight now. And so yeah, just had like a good little night. Was home before midnight. And we got home and my little brother was here because we like impromptu decided he was going to stay the weekend. So he slept over Friday night and Saturday night. So we had like a fun little night when we got home. He was like already basically sleeping though, so I didn't really see him. Wake up the next morning. I'm just like doing a weekend recap if you don't mind, because I was crazy this weekend. Did not stop. And usually I stop a lot, you know? So woke up Saturday morning. Andrew had to go to basketball because he is a basketball coach. And so he went to that. Me and my little brother hung out. We went to get Chick-fil-A, blah, blah, blah. And then I had to leave to go to Opelousas to work a wedding. So I do wedding content creation. I'm only doing it until June because I'm not going to do it after I move. So like the last couple months are upon me of like working this like such fun job, you know, but it is very grueling. Like, by the end of the day, my back hurts, my hips hurt, my feet hurt. Like, it is definitely grueling. I don't know how the photographers do this like every weekend because like it's a lot. You know, I'm on my feet for like 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever it is that they booked. And so fun, but like literally I have to do yoga when I get home because I'm so tight. Anyways, getting off topic. That's what I did Saturday. And Andrew, since he doesn't work a service industry job anymore, and my little brother had themselves a day. Like, They played their little video games. They changed an oil. Andrew took Philip to Texas Day, Brazil for the first time. So they like had themselves a day and like were sending me updates the whole time while I was like at this wedding working. And I was like, maybe don't send me updates. I'm jealous. I want to be having fun with my little brother too. So that leads me to Sunday. We just had like a family fun day. So every time I post like my siblings and my niece and my nephew, everyone's confused about all like the dynamics. So basically, I have an older half brother, an older brother, then it's me, then it's a younger sister, a younger brother, and then a younger half sister. Okay? So there's 6 of us. Yes, including me. And then my mom's husband, my stepdad, has 2 kids, but we didn't like grow up with them. So it's not like I grew up with all 6 of these people, you know? So on Sunday, my friend Brittany is a Pelicans dancer, like the Pelicans NBA. Is that basketball? I think so. She had her last game that she was dancing at, and I hadn't make it out English. I hadn't making it out to a game yet this season, so I was like, okay, I really need to go see her because I don't know if she's doing this again next year. So we scrounged up some of the siblings and we went to the game. It was so fun. I did miss Brittany at first because we were late because we went to Flamingo a go. Oh my god, I'm like stuttering. A go before. It's really cute in there. It's really fun. The food was fantastic. And I had 3 frosés. So at this point I'm tipsy. We are going to the stadium and we're like going in on 2 wheels because I'm trying to catch Brittany because she has to go inside at 2:15 and the game starts at 2:30. Did not get there in time. I like ran up at like 2:14 and she had already gone in. And her mom was like, let me look at her schedule because like she's all over the stadium during the game apparently. And coincidentally, she was doing autographs at halftime. So I was like, perfect, I get to see her. So we had my oldest brother, my sister-in-law, my niece, my sister, my younger brother, Andrew, and Andrew's younger brother. And so we were like squatted up at this Pelicans game. And it was like so fun. And watching my little niece, she's like 2, I think, cheer, and like she wanted to go play basketball because she's been learning how to play basketball recently. It was just like so cute, such a wholesome little family day. Love hanging out with my siblings, obsessed with my siblings. So, needless to say, I had a lot of fun, but I'm tired because also Sundays is usually like reset the house, meal prep, do all your homework. So I had to get home after all day in New Orleans and like do all my homework. There was no time to reset the house. There was no time to meal prep. So me and Andrew don't have food for this week. I guess I'll try to cook tonight. But it's just like, I don't know how people do social things every day because when do you reset your life? You know, because like that's what I'm really struggling with is like, what are you supposed to do? When are you supposed to do it? You know? So I think that was all I really had for updates. I was just like a very social girl this week. And you guys, this upcoming week, I am honestly like a little scared for because I have school and work Monday through Thursday. I'm going to Weiler Plastic Surgery, not sponsored. I just have like a gift certificate. And I'm getting, I think it's like a Diamond Glow dermaplane facial. And then I'm getting Botox for the first time. So I'm not going crazy with the Botox. I've been wanting it in my forehead. Oh, hello, Zaza. I've been wanting it in my forehead and between my eyebrows because I'm kind of finding like, I've always had like lines when like I raise my eyebrows or like scrunch my eyebrows. But they've never been like set. And I find sometimes when I wake up in the morning, the line between my eyebrows is kind of like set. And then it goes away after a little while. Because I think I must sleep with like a scrunched face or something. I don't know. Like, do I sleep angry? I must because I wake up with a line between my eyebrows. So I just want to like get a little like preventative Botox, as they say, in my forehead to like not have those lines set in. Because I don't really care about any of the other lines like smile lines, what do they call them, crow's feet, like all that just like means you're happy. I don't want the lines that like show that like I'm mad or sad. You know what I mean? So Botox in the forehead it is. I want my forehead to be like just still, you know? So excited for that, a little scared because I remember like when my mom used to get Botox, like she would get like bruises sometimes. So I'm a little nervous. Like, am I gonna bruise? I don't know. We're going to see. And we're going to see what it does. Because apparently it also makes your makeup go on like really smooth. You know? So, excited for that. Anyways, let's get into the talks. Oh, wait. I didn't even get to the rest of my week. So, Friday. Good Friday. We do it at my dad's house every year. Like my whole big side of the family. So, like all the cousins. My like great-grandmother had, I think, 8 or 9 kids. So, if you can imagine, that side of the family, like my Roderick side, is very large. And they obviously all had kids. Those people had kids. So, like, very large. But you know what's really inconvenient is the fact that there was a girl born like 15 years older than me, and then like 3 years behind me. I was like the first girl for a while. So like I don't have a lot of girl cousins around my age, but there's a ton of boys around my age. So like my brother has like so many cousin friends because there's so many boys in the family. There's not a lot of girls my age. So like I love hanging out with my like younger cousins, but like I never had that like this is top of mind too because of the wedding I worked just this weekend. She was like best friends with all her cousins. They were all the same age. Like, and I was just like jealous because like I didn't have that, you know? So, but I love family events, love it all. We go to like the swamp, we go crawfishing. It's very Louisiana. I'll try to like post about it so like everybody can see. But yeah, so that is Friday. Saturday is the 10K I've been training for. And granted, I have not run in like days. Somebody that like is a good runner told me that it's probably best that like I slacked on my training plan like the 2 weeks leading up so my body could like heal and be like at its peak preparedness, not like sore or anything. So I was like, okay, you're so right. I don't have to train this week. Ha ha ha. I'll do a little stretching. I'm drinking a lot of water this week, preparing for my 10K. I'm scared. It's also going to be a hard weekend because it's going to be Claire's birthday, and I just don't know how I'm going to be around like all my family and stuff on Easter, which is Claire's birthday, and like have that top of mind. You know, I think it's going to be hard. And then Sunday is Easter. I'm going to go to my mom's house, probably do the pool, stuff like that, you know. So it'll be a very fun weekend, but it'll also be a very somber and sad weekend because Claire would have been 25. So it's just sad because it's her first birthday. So we're working through that. We're getting through it. Okay, sorry, needed a second. Let's get into our stories. They're kind of, in a way, tied together, but not really at all. You know, so we'll see. Hi, hello there. Can we talk about us girls that are just trying to survive, live their best life, see the world, and not do what society, especially in a small town, expects of us? My main priorities at this point in my life are to travel and see as much of the world as I can, and to simply get to work on time. My boyfriend and I love traveling together. We have a healthy, happy relationship and just enjoy spending our time together doing the things we love. We're just about the only ones in our friend groups that haven't gotten married and have kids. We aren't in a rush to get engaged or married, and neither of us want to have kids. However, people often ask when we will get engaged, and people always make comments about having kids, even after I've told them many times that it's not in the plan for me. I mean, kids, girl, I could barely take care of myself some days, okay? Can we normalize us girls that are just trying to live life the way we want to, rather than what people think we should be doing at this age? I know I can't be alone. Thanks for listening to my rant. That is all. Okay. This is very understandable and relatable for me, at least. I know I've like lightly talked about this, but now this person is 30, I'm 24, and like I experience all these same things, even though I'm 6 years younger. So I can't imagine how many people are bugging you about getting married and having kids because I'm 24, my boyfriend is 23 years old, and people are like, oh, y'all are going to get engaged and married soon. Girl, I'm a child, first of all. With what money? A marriage, a ring, with what money? Me and my boyfriend literally are just like trying to get by, you know? And this is his first year with a big boy job. I don't even have a big girl job yet. Like, what do we look like getting married? All glory to the people that are getting married at this age. I just literally don't know how you're doing it with like the finances of it all, you know? I truly don't know. I'm baffled by it every day. And so I think this like expectation of society thinking like, oh, you have a boyfriend, you must just want to get engaged and married. No, you don't have to. Like, it's really frustrating that everyone just assumes. Like, me and my boyfriend have been to Europe twice since we've gotten together now. And both times, like, people have been asking my mom, like, oh, what if they get engaged there? What if they get engaged there? Girl, we spent all our money on going to Europe. We didn't spend no money on a ring. You know? Me and my boyfriend are also of the same ilk that we are very much prioritizing travel rather than, like, especially our parents want us to like maybe like buy a house or a condo or apartment, like get some equity, start saving up for like the future. And we're like, no, we're going to travel. We're going to go to Italy and Spain and Morocco. Like it really just is about your priorities. And I think that's the most important thing. And I'll get into like my second thought after this, but that's the most important thing is like, hey, it's your life, you know? And I have given up caring about what people think a very long time ago. Granted, like, the parents still have a little leverage over, like, me caring what they think, but they're very supportive of, like, me doing what I want to do, which is very great. They'll just, like, put their, like, advice in here and there and say, like, take it and do what you will, you know? But I want to live life and I want to live it for me right now. And I know if I had a kid right now, I would be a good mom, but at the cost of like my youth and like my experiences and what I want to do right now. Like, this is my time in life, and like, this is your time in life to be selfish and choose you and really just do everything you want to do because it's not that serious yet. Like, we're in our 20s and 30s. Like, I feel like life doesn't really get serious till 40, you know? And maybe even then it still doesn't get serious if you choose not to let it, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing is like coming to a place where you just don't care about what other people think and you don't want their input and need their input. And even when they give you their input, you could say, thank you for that, and just like move on and not let it like affect you, you know? Because many people are like, you should get married soon, blah, 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 like all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I want to focus on traveling. I want to focus on moving away for a couple years and like experiencing other places. I want to focus on getting a job. I want to focus on graduating with my MBA right now. Like, if I was planning a wedding right now, please, please. So just focus on yourself. Focus on what you and your boyfriend want. As long as y'all are having these conversations and on the same page, which me and my boyfriend are. And like, granted, society has dug it in my brain to like always like joke about like a ring and an engagement and all this stuff. So I am joking with Andrew all the time, but he knows if he got down on one ring, if he got down on one knee right now with a ring, I'd be like, wait, this is too soon. Like, we've been dating for 3 years. Not that it's too soon to where like I know I want to marry him. It's not like I don't want to marry him. It's too soon in the regards of like, we're young. I'm not at my peak hotness yet. I feel like I'll hit peak hotness at like 27. You know? Does that make sense? So I'm not at my peak hotness yet. You can't propose to me. English. You can't propose to me if I'm not like at my peak hot, you know? And I'm not there yet. I feel like my face needs to like mature a little bit more. I would love to lose the 20 pounds I've gained in the last couple of months and maybe find my style, because I feel like I like don't really know what my style is right now, because for so long when I was like overweight, I'm getting on a tangent here. For so long when I was overweight, I just had to kind of wear what would fit. And so style was not really a thing because you can't have a style when nothing fits. So you just have to wear whatever physically fits. Sorry, I keep hiccuping. And so I want to figure all that out before I get engaged and before I get married, you know, because what if I didn't figure that out and then I would have an ugly wedding dress? Because I don't trust my past choices on big things. Like, my senior year prom dress was an eat, but when I was on court, like homecoming court senior year, my suit was hideous because I think I just tried to like go with whatever fit and whatever like was like very safe option and boring. And when I tell you, like, I so do not resonate with what I wore for homecoming, I was like, ew. Like, I don't even like looking back at pictures because it just so wasn't me. And I wish I would have like stayed true to myself more. But it's just so like weird at that age, you know? Fashion aside, I totally agree with you. I want to focus on traveling because guess what? A lot of people wait until they're retired and then they aren't able-bodied to do all the things that they wanted to do, you know? So live your life now. I don't wait because you also never know when it's going to be taken from you. Morbid, I know, but it's true. I also have gotten really good at like people when they're like, oh, y'all are going to get engaged soon. I've gotten really good at like, instead of like getting annoyed by it, just like joking about it and being like, girl, with what money? We're children. What do you mean? And like usually like that'll shut them right up. And it's kind of like a fun little joke banter thing. And then they don't ask about it again. So find your joke. Find your joke to like ward off the marriage and the engagement and the kids of it all. You know? So good luck, soldier. We got this. Just deny. And get married when you're ready. And don't have kids if you don't want. Although I do want kids, but I totally understand your aspect of how the heck do people take care of kids? Like, literally, my dogs are enough. I have 2 dogs. That's enough caretaking for me. You know? Moving on to the next story. Take a sip of water. Ooh, we're talking about money now. Hi, Emily. I feel like I'm behind with my finances. I graduated from LSU and moved to a new city 2 years ago, then decided to quit my corporate America job and go to law school. While I am so proud of myself for having this opportunity, I also can't help but look at my friends back home or even here in Atlanta that are buying homes, vacationing, or even just living comfortably. I'm always beating myself up about working more side jobs, not spending money, and feel like I need to live below my means. Every time I put money in my savings account, something happens with the dog, car, house, myself, and I feel like I'm treading water sometimes. This usually leads to me feeling guilty about having my nails done, an Amazon splurge, or literally even guilting about buying a new snack at the grocery store. Any advice on saving or trying to find a balance in I can make money back mindset? Thanks, girl. Okay, let me tell you guys a little story. So, from the moment I was in like college, especially, I had to pay for more things than my friends did. Like personal things. Like I had to pay for rent, I had to pay for like food. If I wanted clothes, I had to buy it myself. My gas, my car I had to buy myself, like all this stuff. When a lot of my friends, now this is like obviously generalizing, so like if you're one of my friends, don't take offense to this because whatever. But when a lot of my friends had their parents help and had outside help for these things, and my parents helped with what they could, my mom especially helped with what she could, but at the end of the day, a lot of these things fell on me, and if I couldn't pay rent that month, I had to figure it out. You know, I didn't have anybody like swooping in to save me. I had help here and there, but like, and I'm very lucky for that, but a lot of it fell on me, and especially to this day, a lot of it is on me. Okay. And I was surrounded by people that didn't have that much stress about it, and they were very understanding. All of my friends were very understanding of this, and like definitely like saw that I had to pay for more things and I had to struggle with a lot of that. And so on top of this, what did I do? I started a business. And when you start a business, it is known that your business is typically not profitable to like pay out the owners for the first 3 to 5 years because you're building equity, you're buying all this stock, you're starting from scratch, all this stuff. And so my business for the majority of the time did not pay me a cent. I was doing free labor, and it was in hopes that I would eventually get paid from the business. And we eventually did a little bit, but it was very spotty. And along with like me having to pay for a lot of my things for school, for sorority, for all these things, I didn't have a stable paycheck because I own a business. I spent a lot of my time working at the business, and I had side jobs. So at one point when we had the online store, I had a service job. So I was bartending, and that made really good money, and that supported me. Like at one point I had like $900 rent. I had tuition. I had sorority. I had my car. I think I wrecked my car during this time and had to get a new one. Thankfully, I actually had help for that, and that literally saved my life. But it was a lot of stress because it was like I felt bad going out and spending money. I felt bad buying an alcoholic drink when I was with my friends out because I was like, this is a waste of money that I should be using towards this, using towards that. This is why I'm stressed about money, because I keep spending money in ways that I shouldn't. And I would shame myself for getting clothes and different things that would make me happy. And it was just like a terrible place to be in because not only was I like depressed because I wasn't being social, I wasn't going out because I didn't want to spend money. I also still had no money, and I was working my butt off. So like I didn't even have time to be social if I wanted to. So it was like just everything revolved around money in my life. And then when we opened the storefront, I still had a part-time job. It wasn't a serving job, so I could have like kind of normal hours, but I still had a part-time job that I had to go to multiple days a week in addition to running the store, in addition to being a business owner, in addition to being in school. So at one point I had a part-time job where I was working 15 to 20 hours a week. I had the store where I was probably working like 20 to 30 hours a week. And then I was a full-time student. So it was a lot. And I still had no money. I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I still couldn't even afford food sometimes. Like it was literally probably my lowest point, but I was happy because I was living my dream. I had a storefront. I was like so excited and thrilled and happy to have these things, and I had no money to show for it. You know what I mean? My boyfriend, actually, this is like a famous quote that my family always uses now, is he literally told me, he was like, you are the hardest worker I know with the littlest to show for it. Because I never had money in my bank account. I had no savings. I was deep, deep, deep in credit card debt because for a while when we first started like the storefront, I had to live off of credit cards because I didn't have time to work another job. I didn't have time. So if I needed to eat, it was going on a credit card. And so for the longest time, I finally paid all the credit card debt off a couple months ago, which was like the best feeling. But for the longest time, I literally was just like in a hole. And I was digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper, and I had no way to get out. I had no way to get out because I was making no money and I didn't see an end in sight. And so it was hard and it was a lot. And there was times where, like, for example, when I told the story last week on the podcast, when my car got broken into, I had no money to even eat because that was a particular month where I literally only had money coming in that month to hardly even pay rent. Okay? Like, I had no extra money that month to even get food. I had to like eat everything in my pantry because I had no money to like spend going eat out, even on groceries. Like, I had no extra money that month, and then my car got broken into and I had to pay $1,000 to fix it. Literally so thankful that random people on the internet, that some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know, sent me money because they like felt, I guess, bad for me, I guess. And they sent me money to help me fix my car. And it was like the most touching thing because I truly was at like my lowest point. And at that point too, I was at my heaviest weight physically as well. So it was like one of the hardest times just like in my life because I felt like I was like going through life with no way out of this hole that I was in. Does that make sense? Like, this is like very, probably more information than I should give, but that's just like a little bit about where I was. And I actually had a friend one time that they were struggling a little bit financially, and it was like a joke that they were like, I actually like, I kind of feel you now. Like, and they came to me for money advice because they were like, they needed to learn how to live with no money. And they knew that I knew how to do that. So it was kind of like a funny little joke. But basically, actually, a bunch of my friends came to me for financial advice because I knew how to live very well below my means, you know? So what I'm saying is I completely understand where you're coming from, and I completely obviously get it because I was there, you know? I was there. In regards to your mindset, let's talk about you for a second. I'm just talking about me. Let's talk about you for a second. You had a corporate job. You were in a big girl job. You had a salary. Never had one of those. I'm really excited to have one of those one day. But you made the decision for yourself to stop that and go to law school. I want you to think about yourself in 20 years. So you're, what, 24 right now? You're 44. And you might be married, you might have kids, you might not be. And you're thinking back to the time where you were in school and struggling and you made this decision and you're so happy now because you're a big hotshot lawyer and you have all this money, whatever. And you're thinking back to those times that you were down in the dumps, feeling bad about yourself, comparing yourself to all your friends, not owning a house, not anything like this. And you're 20 years down the line, you now own a house, you have a great job, you're a lawyer, you have all these things that you were so envious of way back when. And you're going to think when you're 44 years old, like, oh, that was the time. Like, it was a struggle, but it taught me X, Y, and Z. And I learned so much during it. And I'm so glad I did that because it got me to where I am today. A lot of the times I'm in school right now and I feel terrible because a lot of the times Andrew, my boyfriend, has to maybe pay a little bit more of this bill or pay a little bit more of that bill or cover the groceries this one week because I can't afford it. And I think about all those stories you hear of like a husband and wife and like he supported her through medical school or she supported him through law school or whatever. And you think about all these things and I really had to shift my mindset of like, Andrew is my life partner and like he's helping support me through school. You know, just like I want to help support him. I think he's doing like this like program to get like his Texas certification and like he'll be fine. But if he ever like wanted to go back to get his master's, I would want to then support him through school, you know? And like you just think of these people that are like 20, 30 years away from their 20s and they're just saying like, oh yeah, he helped support me through English. I'm really bad at stuttering today. He helped support me through school and you kind of think and like, oh wait, that's what's happening now. Why do I feel so guilty about it? Because I want to help support him one day. You know, I don't know if that like applies to you, but that's kind of how I like to think of it is like all these adults went through this, you know, and they made it through and they made it to the other side. And it's just like a casual sentence in their story now. What feels like the end of the world for us and so like daunting for us is literally just a casual sentence in their story. One sentence. Oh yeah, I was broke during school. That's what it's going to sum up to in 20 years. And it's kind of minimizing because like we're struggling right now for real, but that's what it'll be in 20 years. And so I just think about that. Like there's so much more to life. There's so much more to come. There's a bigger picture ahead, you know, not to be like all like woo woo, but that has definitely helped me like shift my mindset on it is thinking about it that way. Now, some little money tips. So basically what I would do, especially because I had, and I think you said you have side jobs too. I had like, and still do, a million different forms of income. All like small different, like $20 here, $30 here. Like I had like so much random money coming in from random different places. So at the beginning of every month, I would sit down, and you could do it on a piece of paper. Excel's probably easier. And I would put every single thing I had coming in. Okay. So whether that be a wedding content job, an Instagram check, maybe a little brand deal, my hourly that I expected to make for my part-time job at the time, like anything you are for sure 100% getting that month, put it in one column. In another column, all of your expenses. So you could even reuse the same Excel because your set expenses are going to be pretty set for the month. So that's rent, utilities, car note, car payment, gas, groceries, food, all of that. And you're going to have two columns. You're going to have the in column and the out column, okay? And in the in column, you're going to sum them all up and get your total. In the out column, you're going to sum them all up and get your total, and you're going to subtract them. The goal is to have the in column at least be a little bit more than the out column, okay? And I'm going to tell you this right now. You don't need to be putting money into your savings when you're in school, okay? Like, wait till you're done with school. Wait till you have a job. I've tried my best at times, but then it just comes same for you, like right back out of savings, you know? Maybe have yourself a couple $100s for those emergencies if you're not going to have money that month. But you don't need to be like padding up your savings to like buy a house right now. You know, some people, that's great, but you're in school. You're building your life for a better future. You're paying tuition. You have to do all these things. Your main job right now and focus should be school, because guess what? If you don't do well in school, all that money you paid in tuition, all those sacrifices you made are going to be pointless. So that needs to be your first priority, first of all. Second of all, take the columns, have the in money, have the out money, subtract them, and whatever the leftover is, that is going to be your social budget for the month. So that'll be you're eating out, you're going out to drinks, whatever. You could even, if it's enough, put 20% into savings of that extra money, 20% into maybe an emergency fund, and then the rest would go to your social life. And that's pretty much what I did every month. And some months I maybe had $10 on social and I knew I couldn't do much that month. And some months I had maybe 200, 300, 400 bucks, and I knew I could like do a lot. And let's say it was a boring month, I could save that money for the next month where I knew I would have a lot of things. Does that make sense? And there's a glory in free activities. You know, a hike, free. A little walk around a park, free. A lot of nature things are free, obviously. But little music festivals, a lot of them sometimes are free. Little pop-up shops here and there. You can't buy anything because you're saving money, but you could walk around, see all the vendors. It just gets you out of the house and like gets you to do a little something, you know? And I actually saw a TikTok the other day about basically how our generation has kind of been like trained that by the older generation that like, oh, buying a $7 coffee every day is why you can't afford things. No, we can't afford things because of inflation and salaries not going up, but everything else going up. That's why we can't afford things. So we might as well afford ourselves the little luxury of having a little coffee every day. You know, the $7 ain't going to break the bank. It's the inflation that's breaking the bank. So, and along with these, like saving the money for the social things, treat yourself every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, you deserve it. And trust me, I know how tough it is to get into that hole and feel just like trapped by like the inability to spend money. I still feel bad spending money. You know what I mean? I felt bad for weeks about buying this damn podcast microphone, you know? But like, you just have to get over it, to be honest. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was insightful because I've gone through this for a while, you know? And like, there's always an out. There's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be ebbs and flows. But I think the most important thing is making that list at the beginning of every month, figuring out how much is coming in, figuring out how much has to go out, and setting yourself to that budget, because at least you won't be digging yourself into a hole like I was. Like, I wish I would have started that method back when I was like living off of a credit card, because maybe I would have done even less. I don't know. So just try your best. You know, that's what we're all doing. And one day you're going to be a hotshot lawyer and you'll be able to pay for anything you want. So just think about that. Okay, last story. Okay. I'm a new listener and kind of a big fan of your podcast. Thanks. You inspire me so much with wanting to start a business or podcast up, some sort of passion project, and put my work into something. I just hit 20 and I feel not the best for where I'm at. I've never been to school, trade, etc. I'm trying to find out what long-term career path I'm looking for, but I feel like I just have no ideas or motivations for anything in specific. I want to feel useful and like I'm providing something back into this world, but for right now, I'm sort of in limbo. Do you have any advice for finding your career path and making it real, whether that be school, podcasting, influencing, acting, etc.? I want to start a podcast, and when YouTube suggested yours, it settled a lot of motivation to see someone making it real. So first of all, thanks. So sweet of you. But second of all, you're 20. You don't have to have it figured out right now. 20 is kind of like the perfect age to be asking this question because you are in the perfect spot to where you can try 5, 10, 15 different things and see what you like. You have literal years to like figure out what you want to do and where you're supposed to be in this world and what makes you happy. And I think that's the glory of it, is not putting yourself too far ahead. Okay? So let's think about the general 20-year-old. The general 20-year-old is in college. What are you? A sophomore, junior. So you're like halfway through college. You're probably broke. You might work a part-time job. You're paying all this tuition and you're figuring your life out. Okay? Put yourself in those shoes. These people that went to college have 4 years to think about what they want to do and figure it out. This is your 4 years. You know, you're not going to college. You might not want to go to college. You might want to go to college, but this is your quote unquote college time to figure out what you want to do, because all of these people, they're taking classes in college to see if they're interested in this, see if they're interested in that. And you need to do the same. Maybe you go work a part-time job at a restaurant and then you hate it or love it, and you know whether you want to be in a managerial or in a managerial position managing people. That could like give you a little sense of that. Maybe you go work in, and I'm just giving examples, maybe you go work in a theater or in like acting school, either taking classes or teaching them or just helping with lighting or helping with props or something, so you know if you want to do acting. You know, that's a really hard career though, I will say. But you just like I think now's the perfect time to dabble in it all. You know what I mean? There's a reason I'm an influencer. It's because A, I had time, and B, I needed a little extra side money while I like figured other things out. And thank God I did, because I literally love it. You know what I mean? But that took a lot of dabbling, because at one point, I just talked about it earlier, I owned a business, was in school, did influencing, worked other part-time jobs. Like I tried everything to where I kind of figured out like what I like doing, what I don't like doing. I know in this phase of my life, I do not want to own a business anymore. You know what I mean? There's a reason we closed the business. I don't want to be a business owner right now. I want to work for somebody else. So after I figured out, okay, owning a business was really fun. I don't want to do it for a while because I need to recover, honestly. What could I do next? I want to work for somebody. Where does that go? What do I like doing? I really like marketing. I've always liked the commercials of TV, sometimes more than the TV itself. I've always been interested on how people market different products. I've always been interested on the influencing side of things. So it created this perfect culmination of I want to get a job in marketing and I want to keep influencing and using my platform on social media to influence people on different things, which is also a form of marketing. You know, so I figured out that I really like marketing, and that's what I want to do in this phase of my life. Another one of my interests is event planning and just events in general and planning things. It started off with me being recruitment chair in my sorority. You know what I mean? I loved planning my sorority recruitment. I loved picking out flowers, tablecloths, table formations, planning the different songs and different things. Like I loved all that. And that kind of but like it kind of follows along with my wedding content creation. So when I'm doing these wedding content creation gigs, like I find myself like, if there's not a wedding planner or a coordinator for the day, I find myself like corralling the bridesmaids to get them in for this picture, or doing this or doing that. Like I find myself like doing things that the planner or coordinator would do. And so when I do want to own a business again one day, I could see myself being a wedding planner or an event planner or coordinator, whatever it might be, you know? But I know that's not for the phase of life that I'm in right now. But I know that could be a possibility for me in the future. Does that make sense? So I feel like you kind of have to like combine your interest, what you currently like to do, what you currently can do with what can make money, and see if you can combine them all into like what is good for this phase of your life. And maybe that's college. Maybe that's acting school. Maybe that's moving to a new city to try acting. You know what I mean? So that is kind of like where I landed with like how I know what I want to do right now and how I know what jobs I'm applying to is I want to be a marketer and I want to market things, you know? So it's pretty simple, but trust me, it took a while to get there. When I was in college, my freshman year, first semester, in one semester, I changed my major 5 times. I physically went to the freshman counselor's office and said, I want to change my major 5 times in one semester. A semester is what? 18 weeks? And I changed it 5 times. So, needless to say, you have time to try new things and not like them. You have time to maybe try something, think you like it, and mess up and don't like it anymore. You have time to experiment. This is what your 20s are for, is just experimenting and figuring out what you want to do and figuring out where you fit in this little thing we call the world, you know? And maybe if you do want to give back, working for like a nonprofit or something would be really good because like it's very self-fulfilling, you know? So just food for thought, you know what I mean? In regards to podcasting, influencing, all of that stuff, just do it. You know what I mean? I waited so long to start this podcast. I have been saying I wanted to start a podcast for probably 3 years now, and I always made excuses. There's no time. What am I going to talk about? Who even cares? What if nobody listens? I made excuse after excuse after excuse. And guess what? I finally one day, unfortunately, it took me going through a tremendous loss to realize that life is too short. And I finally one day said, I'm going to start a podcast because this is something I wanted to do. It's been a dream of mine. I love podcasts. And so what if no one listens? I'm grateful to every single one of you that listen each week. There's like a very steady number of listeners each week, and I literally want to like kiss you all in the mouth. Sorry if that was weird, but I just did it. It was scary. It was nerve-wracking. It took a lot of work to figure out how to set all this up, but I did it. And guess what? Now I could say I have a podcast, and now I could have that part of my life fulfilled. And let's say in 2 years, I don't want to have a podcast anymore. Then I won't. Simple as that, you know? So I think just not taking life so seriously and just really letting yourself experiment and figure things out and find out where life naturally leads you is great, you know? And like I said earlier, there's going to be sometimes where you have a lot of money. There's going to be sometimes where you have no money and can't afford groceries. But that is the glory of life, and it builds character, right? So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Start the podcast. Send me the name. I'll listen. Love listening to podcasts. Start the YouTube channel. Start influencing. Start posting. Just do it, you know? And I've talked about this in episodes before. Screw little Sally Mae and Tommy Sue that might talk bad about you, you know? Because at least you're doing what makes you happy, and at least you're doing what you want. Okay? Okay, I think that's all on my soapbox today. I am now off to work. My little corporate job. My GA position, really. Technically, it's corporate. And then I'm going to get my facial and Botox. Might look different next week, you guys. Be careful. Prepare yourselves. Apparently, your makeup goes on really smooth when you have Botox, so I'm very excited about that. Especially right before Easter, I'll look gorgeous. Running my little 10K. Oh my God, the next time we talk, oh my God, my stomach just got in knots saying that. The next time we talk, I will be post 10K. I'm terrified. Truly. If you see me running that 10K, don't take a picture or video because I'm going to look like I'm struggling. Or maybe do, because then maybe it'll motivate me to run more after the 10K. Okay, we talked about a lot today. Y'all don't go spilling my secrets because I kind of am getting too comfortable here where I'm talking about a little too much. But I feel like we're just like a little squad that listens to this, you know? So, love you guys so much. Right into the podcast. If I post the Ask Me Anything on my Instagram, right into that too, because it's embarrassing if I get left hanging. You know what I mean? So yeah, so next week might be like an Ask Me Anything episode if people actually ask me anything. And anything is loose. I'm not going to answer anything. You could ask. I might not answer it. Okay, well, that's all, you guys. Pretty successful time. I didn't think it'd be this long, actually. I was a yapper today. When am I not? Truly, when am I not? I always sit down thinking like, oh, I'm not going to talk that much today. I'm going to be quiet. She's never. Okay, well, I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, yeah, off to do business things and be a corporate girly. Love you guys. Bye.